Good evening and welcome to the Guyana TV9 News Bulletin for Tuesday, September 30, 2025. I am Faith Sandy. In the headlines tonight, Guyana must lead by example in climate action, says President Ali. Police urge patience, compliance as East Bank and East Coast gridlock worsens. Guyana Expo 2025 to see new elements while preserving identity. Parliament to reconvene within constitutional time frame, President Ali says. Acid attack survivor pleads for justice as bill decision sparks controversy. President Ali named in time 100 next list for 2025. And pedestrian killed after being struck by car driven by police lance corporal. And now for the news in depth. President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali highlighted Guyana's leading role in global climate and biodiversity negotiations, emphasizing that the country must lead by example in climate action. The head of state recently returned from the 80th United Nations General Assembly, where he delivered an address outlining a bold vision for Guyana as both an energy leader and a technology innovator, striking a balance between economic growth and environmental responsibility. More in this Colin Abrams report.
President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, during his recent address to the 80th United Nations General Assembly, emphasized that Guyana must be an energy leader while also protecting the environment. On Tuesday, President Ali underscored the importance of striking balance between climate action and energy security, pointing out that billions of people around the world still lack access to electricity, even as the digital and AI-driven revolution requires an ever-increasing supply of energy.
We arrive at this balance, and I think that is where the United Nations and institutions of multilateral nature must lead the discourse. It must not be this against this. It must be how we bring these two positions into the center, and that is the role Guyana wants to play. And we can play that role by demonstrating, not only from a theoretical perspective, but from a practical perspective as to how we bring that balance and brings.
President Ali noted that the Caribbean and Pacific regions are among the hardest hit by climate change and as such must be strong advocates for climate justice. He emphasized that Guyana must continue investing in the protection of its coastline and low-lying areas, a commitment that will require support and financing from international partners. He explained that discussions on climate justice must take into account a range of diverse and interconnected factors.
And when you speak about climate justice too, it is about the displacement that climate change causes. When you look at Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, and Africa, and see what the impact of climate change in terms of livelihood, displacement of people, displacement of the economy, the impact on the fishing industry, the impact on crops and livestock. When you have long period of droughts, when you have excessive rainfall that lead to flooding. So the climate justice also involves how the system is geared towards responding to these events and dealing with the displacement of people, the size of the population that is pushed into poverty because of climate-related events. So this is the totality of the climate justice conversation. And how do we address?
President Ali explained that the growing number of global conflicts and rising geopolitical tensions continue to cast a shadow over critical issues, most notably the stability of global supply chains, including those essential to food security. He emphasized that disruptions should not only be viewed solely in a negative light, but also recognized as catalysts for systemic change, offering opportunities to rethink and reform existing infrastructure and leadership models.
The energy that we have as a blessing now must be able to position our country to be ahead of the competition and to be part of this whole change, global change that is taking place. Multilateralism itself is being disrupted to the extent that many people are questioning whether globalization is still relevant.
Yes.
But these disruption allows us the scope and opportunity to evaluate even the question about the benefits of the United Nations and at 80 where the United Nations has really fulfilled its mandate But sometimes we have to all remember that the United Nations can only fulfill its mandate if all of us as nations and members of the United Nations fulfill our mandate.
He stressed that Ghana must remain relevant during this period of global disruption, noting that the country's partners and allies play a critical role in supporting its continued progress, especially as Ghana's economic future remains on a positive trajectory. Colin Abrams, Ghana TV9 News.
President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali has been named to the 2025 Time 100 Next, a prestigious list that celebrates 100 emerging leaders shaping the future of business, politics, science, health, sports, entertainment, and activism. The international recognition underscores both President Ali's leadership and Guyana's growing influence on the global stage. The Time 100 Next, an expansion of the iconic Time 100, spotlights rising leaders who are driving change and redefining their fields worldwide. The full list and accompanying tributes will be featured in the October 13, 2025 issue of Time magazine, available on newsstands from Friday, October 3rd, and online at time.com/next. With roadworks intensifying along the East Bank and East Coast furthers, police are urging drivers to exercise patience and discipline. Assistant Superintendents Michael Ramdas and Stephen Gobin said the grid law is a direct result of major infrastructure projects, but warned that reckless driving and non-compliance are worsening an already bad situation. Here's more. On the latest edition of Traffic and You, Assistant Superintendents Michael Ramdas and Stephen Gobin addressed mounting public frustration over congestion in Regional Divisions 4B and 4C, two of the country's busiest corridors. They explained that ongoing construction of highways, bridges, and embankment roads has caused daily delays and urged drivers to follow traffic ranks, respected flaggers, and exercise patience on the roadways.
Regional Division 4C spans from the Mahaic Bridge all the way to Industry Arch on the east coast of the Rupert Craig Highway. Presently, is one of the hottest division right now in terms of traffic. I don't know if Mr. Ramdas would like to contest that. However, that is because of the ongoing infrastructure work on our railway embankment, where presently we have several constructions going on the bridges, and that is between Success, Buxton, and Enmore area.
ASP Gobin dismissed complaints that police are absent from the East Coast, stressing that ranks are posted daily from Mahaica to Industry, including choke points at Success, Buxton, and Enmore. He said the heavy congestion stems from rapid development projects, but assured that additional support from traffic headquarters has been deployed.
Of recent, we're having assistance from traffic headquarters, where they're sending additional ranks to assist us within the Collagen and Melanie area. But whatever resources are available within the Traffic Department of Regional Division 4C, they are exhausted.
ASP Ramdas highlighted the East Bank's unique challenge. No diversion routes exist from Grove to the Linden-Sustek Highway. He explained that illegal overtaking in these single-lane zones often leads to complete roadblocks, worsening bottlenecks. Ramdas urged commuters to leave earlier, comply with traffic directions, and even consider carpooling to ease congestion. The discussion builds on earlier warnings by Traffic Chief Mahindra Singh, who revealed that Guyana has recorded 84 fatal accidents with 88 deaths so far this year, compared to 75 accidents and 79 deaths in the same period last year. Singh noted that reckless overtaking and increased vehicle volumes, particularly in Georgetown and on the west side, remain major concerns, even as technology like smart city cameras and body-worn devices help police crack down on violators.
For 3 years, I know the themes for road safety would have been respect the road. There was 148 fatal accidents, 175 deaths. Then my first year as traffic officer, we had road safety is not a slogan, it's a way of life. That led to a significant reduction of 117 fatal accidents and 132 deaths. This year we had to do the right thing, which came from a stakeholder agreement. What do we have? We have an increase. We're operating presently at about 84 fatal accidents with about 88 deaths. Well, last year would have been 75 and 79. Much of the questions to be asked, why, where were we failing? It was not necessarily us, the police, who were failing. Single vehicle collision with medians and infrastructure led to the death of many.
By linking residents' complaints with enforcement measures now in place, police are signaling a stronger, more coordinated response to traffic challenges. But both Ramdas and Gobin agreed that without public cooperation, whether from truckers, minibus operators, or private motorists, the gridlock and rising accident toll will continue to threaten lives on Guyana's roads. It's Sandy, Guyana TV9 News. Guyana Expo 2025 is set to feature several new enhancements aimed at increasing its overall impact. This was announced by the Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, Susan Rodriguez, who emphasized that while new elements will be introduced, the exposition will continue to showcase dynamism of Guyana's economy while preserving the core identity that has defined Gaia Expo over the years.
The Expo 2025, one of the most anticipated events on the national calendar, is scheduled to take place from November 13 to 16 at the Sapphire Exhibition Center under the theme Transformation Through Entrepreneurship and Innovation. Was officially launched on Monday. During the official launch held in the Arthur Chung Conference Center in Liliendal on Monday, Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce Susan Rodriguez announced that this year's exposition will include new features aimed at enhancing its overall impact.
This year, we are introducing several new features designed to strengthen Gaia Expo's impact. Most notably, we are creating a dedicated space for businesses and investors to engage in serious conversation about collaboration and expansion. Guyana today stands at the forefront of opportunity with double-digit growth in the non-oil sector, a clear indicator that our economy is diversifying and broadening its base.
Local businesses must take the lead in initiating conversations with both domestic and international partners, according to the Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, Susan Rodriguez. As part of this push, Gaia Expo 2025 will feature a robust business-to-business networking component supported by Go Invest to foster deeper commercial collaboration. Now entering its 30th year, the event will also include a special segment recognizing long-standing businesses that have grown alongside the expo. The minister noted that these businesses will be honored for their longevity and unwavering support, making their significant contributions to the local economy and the expo's legacy.
It is important to underscore that while Gaia Expo is facilitated by the government, its true strength lies in private sector participation. Without our exhibitors, our manufacturers, service providers, agro-processors, and sponsors, there would be no expo. Tonight, I make a clarion call to all businesses, large and small, to seize this opportunity. Gaia Expo is unmatched in terms of exposure. It offers a rare platform to showcase products and services, not only to local consumers, but to international investors and partners.
The minister noted that the expo will no longer serve solely as a platform for showcasing local and regional talent, products and services, but will also function as a catalyst for building strategic networks and shaping the future of Guyana's economy. Meanwhile, President of the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce, Kathy Smith, encouraged local businesses to fully leverage the expo as a conduit for business growth and development. Insert. Colwyn Abrams, Guyana TV9 News.
Gaia Expo is not just about selling a few products. It is about marketing your products and service and expanding your customer base. It is about selling your business. So I want to leave this to those entrepreneurs who might be in the office. Exhibitors, I want you to ace Gaia Expo. And when I say ace, I mean ACE. This is what I mean. I want you to attract. Capture attention with creative display, samples, and engaging demonstration. When persons come to your booth, they must be able to see not just you well dressed, but they should be impressed by what you're displaying. I want you to see. See means to connect. Network with other businesses, government agency, and customer to build lasting partnership.
President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali has assured that Parliament will reconvene within the period allowed by the Constitution amid opposition calls for urgent sitting. Speaking in Georgetown, Dr. Ali stressed his government will act strictly within the law, noting that Article 691 provides up to 4 months after dissolution, placing the deadline in early November. It will be reconvened within the constitutional limits and time frame, he affirmed. Police are intensifying their fight against domestic violence, with Superintendent Shalon Daniels reminding victims that they are fully protected under the Family Violence Act of 2024. On the latest edition of Police and You, she stressed that restraining orders are legally binding, enforceable, and backed by over 2,000 specially trained officers across the country. More in this report. On the latest episode of Police and News, Superintendent Shalon Daniels continued the discussion on domestic violence, focusing on the rights offered to victims under the new Family Violence Act of 2024. She explained that the law protects not only spouses, but also ex-partners, relatives, cohabitants, intimate partners, and guardians. Victims, she stressed, have the right to report abuse, seek protection and occupational orders, and access shelters and legal aid.
India, no. Basically, the persons who qualify are who those sort of abuse may be perpetrated against is spouses, either present or past ex-spouses. You have siblings, you have relatives now. This act gave us a wide spread of persons. You have relatives, you have former relatives.
Superintendent Daniels rejected the idea that restraining orders are just a piece of paper, making it clear they carry the full authority of the law and must be enforced by police. Within all policing regions, domestic violence is treated with zero tolerance, she said, adding that no officer is allowed to dismiss a report or push for informal settlements. Superintendent Daniels explained that once a report of violation is made, the protection order becomes part of the victim's case file, and the perpetrator can face criminal charges for breaching it.
When you look at it, yes, I would have heard those sayings that it's just a piece of paper, but that is not just any piece of paper, that is a paper with authority. Now, once you're armed with this protection order, the rights are invested in you that if the perpetrator should violate those orders, you immediately call the police, either via the 911 or the Human Services hotline number, which is 914. The police is going to investigate, or they are tasked with investigating that breach.
The renewed message follows her earlier statement that more than 2,000 police officers have now been trained to handle domestic violence cases. Supported by the Ministry of Human Services, the training equips officers to respond to physical, sexual, emotional, psychological, and economic abuse, while also linking victims with counseling, legal guidance, and financial maintenance.
As we have over 2,000 police would have been trained by the ministry as it relates to handling and dealing with domestic violence, and the methods of advice that is there to give out to members of the public. So all we can safely say is encourage persons to utilize those avenues. So if you're at home and you know for sure that money is not being filtered into the home, one way or the other, you're not shut out. There are systems that are in place. You have the Ministry of Human Services. They are the persons that can guide you and advise you further, and there is redress in the courts under the Domestic Violence Act.
The urgency of this effort is underscored by troubling statistics. By early September 2025, at least 17 women have been killed by their partners. Data from the Ministry of Human Services shows that police received more than 1,800 domestic violence reports in 2023, slightly down from just over 2,000 in 2022. Officials warn that many cases remain unreported, especially in interland regions where cultural norms often silence victims. President Dr. Irfan Ali has pledged to intensify national action, calling domestic violence a scourge that must be eradicated, with expanded shelters, hotlines, and community outreach, and the police force continuing its public education efforts. Superintendent Daniels urged citizens to use the protections available. Make the news while you're alive, she said. Help is available and silence often costs life. Faith Sandy, Guyana TV9 News. The government of Guyana has announced that the highly anticipated four-lane high-span cable stayed Denmark River Bridge will be officially commissioned on Sunday, October 5, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. The ceremony will be led by His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. The modern superstructure launched in 2022 is designed to facilitate the smooth, uninterrupted flow of both vehicular and maritime traffic. Once operational, it is expected to drastically cut travel time, boost connectivity between regions 3 and 4, and enhance the movement of goods and services across the country. Government has hailed the bridge as a transformative project and a key pillar in its broader agenda to modernize Guyana's infrastructure and strengthen national development. At just 26 years old, Delisa Leach has already survived the unimaginable. Discharged from hospital last Friday, she bears the scars of a brutal acid attack that left her disfigured and blind in one eye. But even more painful than her wounds is the fear that grips her daily, knowing her alleged attacker is free.
The September 3rd attack carried out at the busy intersection of Middle and East Streets also injured another woman, Normalis Sukrat, speaking in an emotional interview with Big Smith News on Sunday. Leach said she is terrified and outraged that the man charged, Kieran Daniels, was granted bail.
I was so glad to go home, you know? I'm so glad to go home, but then I'm scared. Knowing that the person who did this to me is still out there. He got bail. I'm like this right now. So I'm just praying to get better right now. I'm hoping that I start seeing back from my eyes. I'm praying that I still have a job at balancing, regardless of everything that's happened. I'm still hoping that they take me back. Honestly, I would say this is injustice, but
Leach recounted how police told her it was the magistrate's decision to grant bail. Daniels walked free on a $500,000 bond, igniting public anger and sparking a war of words between the Guyana police force and magistrate Faith Magosti. The magistrate later defended her ruling in open court, saying police misrepresented her decisions and created a misleading narrative.
the police that was currently dealing with my case at Alberta, they reached out to me. They said they provide the footage and everything in court. They said it's not their fault that Karen Daniels got bail. It's the magistrate.
For Leach, however, the legal back and forth is cold comfort. The young mother says her greatest fear is now her 2-year-old daughter will react to seeing her scarred face for the first time. I should be collecting money and taking care of my child, she said softly, but instead I'm really scared.
I have a baby. She's 2. She's gonna be 3 next month. I would call her like every morning before she go to school on video call. But I would like turn the phone for her to see my face because I don't want her to get scared. I don't know if she see me now, what would be her reaction? Like if she would get scared. I don't know.
Leach met Daniels years ago while traveling on a bus. They began a relationship, and though they eventually broke up, she said there were no major conflicts between them.
Karen Daniels, he drive a 32 bus, a black pinball bus. And most of whenever I catch a bus, you know, I was like turn around and flirt and smile up and so with me, but I don't take it for nothing. I would just like smile back. And then his conductor Dorville, he said that the driver like you. And I said, not me, I don't like West Side man. So then it so happened that he gave the conductor gave him my number. He messaged me, I think it was like around March. He said, is the driver. And then we started talking, we started messaging, and so he said he liked me, how he was single. He's only communicate with his cheer mother for the sake of his kids. And how he does sleep in the bus because he don't feel comfortable at home. So he started coming over by me. He would like sleep over. When I cook and so I would give feed. And then now he just started acting this time.
That changed tragically on September 3rd, when during a routine trip with colleagues, Daniels allegedly hurled the corrosive liquid that forever altered her life.
September 3rd now, I was at work. My work colleague, dear Mala, she asked me to follow her to the supermarket for going by lunch. My break wasn't up. And I said, "Man, dear Mala, go by yourself." Right? And she kept insisting for me to follow her. But I didn't want to seem ungrateful because, like, everybody dealing with patients, I would ask her name out, please pour this cup of water for me. She would go. If I asked her to buy something from the canteen, she would go. So I didn't want to seem ungrateful. So as we left for go to the supermarket, as we crossed over the road by the silver side, yeah, I feel like somebody just walk up like at the side and throw this thing on me, and my whole skin started to burn. I didn't know what it was.
Now scarred, partially blind, and traumatized, Litch says her fight is far from over. She is demanding justice and insists her attacker should spend the rest of his life behind bars. Adana Dorek, TV9 News.
A man known only as Sot was killed early Tuesday after being struck by a car driven by a 26-year-old police lance corporal on the Monrepo public road, East Coast, Demerara. Police said the pedestrian ran into the path of the vehicle. He was taken to the Georgetown Public Hospital operation where he died. The driver tested negative for alcohol and is under close arrest. The 2025 Heritage Games wrapped up with record participation and thrilling football finals at the Everest Round. Providing a brief overview of the 5-day event, Minister of American Affairs Sarah Brown said that the games are growing each year and promise an even better showcase next year. Now, the TV9's Adana Dorek attended the final day's event on Sunday and filed this report.
It was a festive atmosphere at the Everest Ground as the curtains came down on this year's Heritage Games. More than 800 athletes, 100 more than last year, competed in what Minister of American Affairs Sarah Brown described as one of the smoothest and most exciting editions yet.
We've been here over the past couple of days, and we've had a really good turnout in terms of athletes participating as well as spectators. Compared to last year, we had about 700 participants last year from across the country, and this year we saw over 800 athletes. So, a bigger team here. In terms of organizing, we've had a really good team from the ministry working every day and night to ensure that we have a really good and successful event.
Brown, a former footballer herself, even stepped back onto the field, showcasing her prowess.
So it was good to be back as a former football player. You know, it was really good to be back on the field, even though not competitively so. But, you know, I really wanted, because we have a really good team in the ministry working, and, you know, they wanted to be a part, and so we said, let's have a friendly match against of course.
Region 10's female Scorpions claim the women's football champions with 4 goals. Region 9 males team Striker Club matched that feat, needing 3 goals to emerge as champions, snatching the title from 2-time champions Region 7 Parima.
So excited, and the first time our club is come out in this big event like this, and we are proud to come so far and win the Heritage Game.
You win the Heritage Game. Something interesting is that you have been the 2-time champion, which is Region 7. They've been winning back to back, which is 2023 and 2024. And now you're the new team winning Heritage. How does that feel?
I feel very proud. I feel happy. And back home, I know my family and friends and my village is proud of me.
Would you say that the hard work paid off?
Yes, and all for our coach and our secretary and each and every one of us.
Vendors told Guyana TV9 that business was just as lively as the games during the event.
This is my first time actually being out there. We applied last year, but we didn't get it. But this year, I applied early and I got it, and it was pretty well received. So, I'm new. The name of my business is the Tv9 Newscast. Yeah. No, just, as a social family, it's kind of a connection with the community. That's why I chose revenue.
With record turnout, high energy, and promises of an even bigger showcase next year, the Heritage Games has once again proven to be a unifying highlight of the season. Adana Dorek, Guyana TV9 News.
And that has brought us to the end of tonight's newscast. Remember to check out our Facebook and YouTube platforms at Guy TV9 for more trending stories. I am Faith Sani. Thanks for watching.